Hi, I'm Ollie.
Hi, I'm Rob.
And this is a comic strip AP of Dungeon World featuring the sorry tale of Alford Soultaker. When we last saw Alford, he and his monster hunting companion Helda Gamethief had discovered a nest of ankegs, giant acid-spraying insectoid monsters. Two of these beasts are currently standing in between Alford and Jorrak Liesmith, who is another transported criminal like himself and Helda, and he has stolen Alford's sword, Wormblight.
The war is over. To the south, the kingdom rebuilds and reorganizes, the population mourning the unexpected loss of their king in the dying days of a bitterly fought and harrowing campaign. Far north, out of sight and mind, the exiles set to work on the construction of a series of huts and hovels. These pathetic structures would grow and develop in time, destined to become a functioning but fragile town. This industry was to represent the first and the last period of true harmony and cooperation in Frostbreach. In those days, a wise man knew to keep his head down, bide his time, and carve himself a niche. My name is Alford Soultaker. I am a monster hunter.
Okay, so you have these two huge insectoid monsters in front of you, and they are currently thrashing backwards from your torch, which has alarmed them briefly. Standing behind them, you have Jorrak Liesmith, who is kind of smirking at you and holding Wormblight up in front of you. He's not holding it like he intends to use it, he's holding it like he intends you to see it.
Sure.
And at your feet, you have Helda Gamethief, who is wounded, clutching at her side, kind of moaning, cursing. What do you do?
Okay, I drag her to her feet. Helda, can you stand?
Ugh, just about.
Can you fight?
She shakes her head, and she just hands you her sword. This was a present from my wife. You do not want to get it melted.
Snatch the sword out of her hand, stuff the flaming brand into her other hand and say, if you can't fight, at least distract them, and shove them off to the other side of the tunnel while I cut to the left.
Okay, are you trying to distract them then, rather than just going straight for them?
I'm trying to get Helda to distract them, while I cut to one side to flank one.
I am going to say, then, that that is a defy danger wisdom.
Right, it's a 7.
It's a 7, okay. What happens is, the distraction works a little too well, and both of them just go straight for Helda. Jorrak, on the other side of this, he's not expecting this at all, and a good enough space for you to get through is opened up between you and him, and he turns and bolts. Now, you can chase him, or you can help Helda. If you don't help Helda at this point, well, she's got no weapon.
Sure.
She's wounded. 2 ankegs are just going to eat her.
Okay. I take 2 steps towards Jorrak before I take a glance back and the reality of that situation kicks in. I double back, and I'm just going to try and ram this sword up to the hilt in its arse of the nearest ankeg.
Okay, that is going to be a hack and slash, so let's read out the rules for hack and slash, because we haven't done this before. When you attack an enemy in melee, roll plus strength. On a 10+, you deal your damage to the enemy and avoid their attack. At your option, you may choose to do 1d6 extra damage, but expose yourself to the enemy's attack. On a 7 to 9, you deal damage to them, and they make an attack against you.
It's an 8 plus the 2 for strength.
It's a 10, great. Okay, so you do your damage, and you can add a d6 to it, but they're going to get an attack on you.
I'm going to add my d6 to it. I want to finish this off fast and get moving.
Okay,
so...
Brave move.
Well, I just want to get this done if possible. So we've got a 6 on the 10 and a 6 on the 6. 12.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Very nice.
Describe yourself destroying this ankeg.
Okay, well, the ankeg has got its carapace towards me as it waggles its legs and mandibles at Helda just beyond it. I get one brief glance of Helda's face in fear as it just rears up in front of me. That gives me the chance to find a chink in its carapace, and I push it straight in. I have no idea if the point of it comes out the front of its chest, but I like to think that it does. So I give it a twist for added drama.
Yeah, the point of it does come out the other side, actually, and kind of spatters Helda's face with blood. There's still one of these things left. Your sword is now stuck in the body of its fallen compatriot, and it turns around, screeches at you, throws its head back. Now, you recognise that that is exactly what it did last time before it spat acid at you and melted your skinning knife. So, what do you do?
I abandon the sword. I don't have time to wrench it out, and I dive and roll trying to get behind the Ankeg, still writhing on its back with his little leggies kicking in the sky, curling up on itself. Try and use it for cover.
That is going to be a defy danger with Dex.
Not my forte.
No, he's a big man, but he's out of shape.
I got a 7.
You got a 7. Okay, cool.
Not bad.
Okay, so you manage to get down just behind the still twitching body of the other Ankeg when the acid flies over your head. However, because you duck out of the way, what it does instead is it hits the torch and puts it out. Oh. And you're suddenly plunged into darkness, just like that. What do you do?
Well, Alford has fought in a lot of battles. He's not just fought human foes, he's fought mounted foes, he's fought beasts, and he's fought in the light, and he's fought in the dark. And he would never describe himself as an expert swordsman or a master of combat in all situations, but he knows how to fight dirty. He's going to rear up to the last place where he knows the Ankeg was, looming over its fallen friend. He's going to try and grab for where he feels the mandibles were, and having just glanced the tip of that sword poking out of the belly of the fallen Ankeg, he's just going to try and, if he can grab it, he's going to just try and ram those mandibles down onto that sword, hoping that more than a good inch or two is poking through it.
Nice, that's brilliant. Okay, that is going to be a hack and slash.
Good luck, Alford, we're all behind you. 10. And that's +2, 10, isn't it?
Nice.
That's +2, isn't it? So,
yeah.
12. I'm going to go for the extra d6 then.
Okay, go for it.
So
Roll your damage.
on the d10 I got a 6, and on the d6 I get a 1. So 7.
Okay. So you grab it by the mandibles, thrust it down onto the sword, and it goes up halfway kind of into its head, but it wasn't sticking out quite as much as you'd hoped. And it's just going to bite you, because you're essentially holding it by the teeth. So can you please roll d8 plus 1 damage to you?
d8 plus 1, right. 8.
Oh, okay. You slam it down on the point of the sword. It's still sticking out, and as it reels back and just slices straight across your hands, and you're bleeding really heavily from your hands now.
I shall roar in pain.
What do you do?
I'm going to try in the dark, now that I know well and truly where it is, try and shift my grip and try and just skip myself on top of it, so I'm straddling it. And just
okay, nice.
And I'm probably still gripping on with one stubby hand onto one mandible. If I can free the other one up, just to get my hand on top of its head and just grind it further into that point with all my body weight and all the pressure I can muster.
Okay, hack and slash.
Hack and slash. That's what you do, Alford Soultaker. 10 again. 4, 4, and 2.
Nice, nicely done. Okay, roll your damage.
And a 10 again. We get a 7, and I'm not going to risk the +6 on that one.
You push it down with all of your weight, and in addition to kind of pushing it down further onto the sword, you're furious at this point, and you're actually just kind of crushing. Yeah, and you can feel its carapace around its head cracking as you push downwards.
Give it an extra yell of anger, just for good measure. Ah.
You hear Helda in the background. That was very dramatic.
And I hold up my hands. Knackered my fingers, though. Glance down the tunnel. Pitch black?
Your eyes are adjusting to it a little now, because you've got the early morning light, which is pouring in from the hole that you came through, which is a little bit further down the tunnel. So it's not entirely dark. You could maybe go a little way into the distance, but you're not going to be able to make it far. However, you figure neither's Jorrak.
No. I'll just say, Helda, you're the trapper. Find your shit. Get your stuff together and catch me up. I cannot afford to wait. And I just launch myself into the darkness.
You hear her shout something after you, which sounds unpleasant in a different language.
I am not just pelting down the corridor. I have got a hand on the wall, one hand in front. I'm trying to watch my footing. And I'm not just going hell for leather. I am trying to move swiftly but carefully.
I am going to say that is a defy danger wisdom.
9.
9, okay. You're making your way further down the tunnel, and you manage to keep upright. But then as you look backwards, you realise that you have really no idea where you've come from. So you're kind of in up to your waist in this now, basically.
Yeah.
But then you hear, Soultaker.
Do I recognise the voice?
Oh yeah, that's Jorrak.
Does the voice sound close?
It does. It sounds like it's come from just behind you.
Alford is quick on action, low on thought, at least when he's not tracking. So having heard this behind him, knowing he wants Wormblight now, he just jerked to one side, twists and hurls himself in the direction of the voice.
It's kind of a hack and slash then, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm hoping just to pin the guy down.
Okay, right. In that case, that is more of a defy danger with... I'm going to say con if you're trying to barrel him.
Sure, okay. I'm not bad at that. This is where the dice turn against me.
It is.
No. 4 and 4. No. 4 and 4 plus 1 for con. 9.
So you barrel straight for where the noise of Jorrak's voice came from. And you make contact with him, and you can kind of hear the wind go out of him. He wasn't expecting you to just go straight for this. He was expecting probably a little parley first.
Entirely why I did it.
Right, okay. And it knocks you to the floor. You knock both of you to the floor. But that makes a big bang. And you know that previously, when Helda landed with a large bang, noise, vibration summons these things.
Am I right in saying that might have been why Jorrak was whispering?
That's probably why Jorrak was whispering.
It suddenly occurs to Alford.
But then Jorrak is a con man, and Alford is a... Well, we don't know what Alford's done, but he's not a pleasant man. No. Jorrak was probably more prepared for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Fine. So we've both hit the deck.
You both hit the deck. Are you mad? You're going to bring them all crashing down on us again. You just got out.
Shut up, Jorrak. Give me the sword and I can watch you back while we both get out of here.
Oh, you don't think I've got it that close, do you?
Give me the sword. I feel for his throat. Give me the sword.
Does it talk to you too?
Just for a second, my grip loosens.
It talks to me.
I don't know what you're talking about, but it's mine.
I think you know. I used to hear Gaiman Lightfingers say that things told him to steal them. And I just thought it was a turn of speech, but this told me to steal it. And it's told me so much more since then.
I just get close in, imagining I can see his eyes full of fear, and I just growl into his ear. What do you know?
I'm starting over, because I do a lot of that pausing. Okay.
Croaky throat?
You managed to...
Death rattle?
Croaky throat. Yeah.
Comedy villain?
I'm Ankeg.
See how I roar.
Hi, this is Jason from The Gauntlet. If you enjoyed this episode of Comic Strip AP, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. We have many other Comic Strip AP shows available, each organized in their own sequential playlist for easy listening. Just go to youtube.com and search for Gauntlet RPG.